Hello and welcome back to the Solihull Radio Rock Show. It is I, your wonderful host, Jake. Welcome to the Wednesday Madness, I suppose it might as well be. So, let's play out the usual swears warning.
Now, there might be a few naughty words in this song, but we know you'd never repeat them.
There you go, you have been warned. So this week's opening track was by the fantastic Amorphis, and that was Grain of Sand. I quite often open with them just because they're so epic, it really sets the show up right. So, on with the... Enough rambling, let's talk about the show. So, anybody who has heard this before knows that the first hour tends to be the heavier kind of side of stuff, and the second hour, which some of you may or may not be interested in, is the lighter, or as is more normal, more unusual side of rock music. So, I also take requests. If anybody really has a burning desire to hear a song, you can get hold of me by emailing studio@solihullradio.com or text studio in your message to 82228. That will cost you one of your standard messages, however. If you do want to request a song, please do leave your name, as I've had requests in the past that have not left any names, and I don't know who to thank, and I do quite like thanking people for their wondrous music requests. So, on with the music. Next up, we have Cradle of Filth with Forgive Me, Father, I Have Sinned.
Vision drowns like service wine. With kisses so divine.
was Cradle of Filth there with Forgive Me Father, I Have Sinned. I do love a bit of Cradle every now and again. Not all the time, it gets a bit intense after a while, so I tend to just listen to the odd song here and there, but that is one of my favourites, just because of that great outro guitar solo that just seems to go on and on and on forever. So next up on my list we have a very different song, and this is Coal Chamber with Big Truck. Anybody who knows Coal Chamber will know there are no guitar solos, so this is a very different style.
Bitch.
There you go, that was Big Truck there by Coal Chamber. A very, like I said, a very, very different song to Forgive Me Father. And now on to another very different song, and this is by Deftones. Now, anybody who knows a bit of Deftones knows that they are, in recent years, they've gotten a little bit more kind of experimental with their sounds, and this is no exception. It's quite long, but I think it's worth it. So this is Rosemary.
as the engine stalled. Our eyes catch sail. Explode.
There you go. And that was the Deftones there with Rosemary. So as you can see, a very different kind of song, but still a good one nonetheless, I hope. Well, I hope you all agree at least. So, as people well know who listen to this show, I do an album of the week. And this week's album of the week is Dream Theater's Awake. So we're going to have a couple more songs, and then we're going to go on to the Awake album, which is one I love. So next up we have our first request, and this is for Josh, and he has requested To Erebor by Windrose. So here you go, enjoy. There you go. That was Two Erebor there by Windrose for Josh. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a great request. Nothing like a dwarf-themed song. Now, if memory serves me correctly, Windrose are in fact a dwarf-themed band. I think that they were the band that recently went viral with their cover of the song Diggy Diggy Hole, which is a great song that I might play on the show one day, but or may have already been played, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I definitely did. So, next up on my lovely list is Disturbed with Stricken. There you go, that was Stricken there by Disturbed, of course, the unmistakable sound of Disturbed. So, we now have the album of the week, so without further ado, let me quickly play the theme. Oh, the computer has decided it would like to stop responding at this very moment I need it. Anyway, I always play the album of the week theme which is we won't bother with it this week. The computer seems to have decided to freeze. Interesting. So this is the technical problem of the week, it seems. Let's see if I can fix this live on air. Yes, this is nail-biting stuff. The DJ trying to fix a computer that decides it wants to stop. So this may be the end of the show prematurely for the moment. I may have to come back online later. Who knows? I may just have to find an alternative way of doing things. But it may be coming to life. Ooh. No, I think that was a false alarm. This is the first time this has happened live on air. Let's hope it is also the last time this happens live on air. So, if you'd just bear with for a moment, I'm going to try an alternative. Oh, it's decided to spark into life at exactly the wrong moment. Although it seems to also still be a little bit not responding at the same time. So we shall have to find another way around this. So the album I have picked for the album of the week is Awake by Dream Theater. It is their 1994 release. It's quite an old song, quite an old album, sorry. And so the album as a whole is a good album. It was the sequel to their breakout album, Images and Words. And it was a little bit more metal orientated, according to the band. But, here we go, the computer has just come back online. So, let's play the album of the week theme. There we go. I think that theme could also describe the computer problems we just had in perfect detail there. So the first track I have chosen to play off this album is Dream Theater's 6 O'Clock.
coming outside.
There you go. That was 6 o'clock there by Dream Theater. So anybody who's not aware of Dream Theater, they are a progressive rock, progressive metal band from the States that formed in the late 80s, early 90s, and produced a slew of albums. And they're still going. Their music is very different to their current music, I should say, is very different to their older style. This is probably the best example of their older style, where it was still slightly 80s. But the new stuff is... Well, the last album was a little bit musical theatre, but let's not get into the last album, which was very divisive amongst fans of the band. Anyway, this album was the last album to be the founding lineup. Well, I say the founding lineup, let's call it classic lineup, which was with a guy called Kevin Moore, and he was the keyboard player, and he left, and they brought in a couple of others over the years before they finally stuck with the one they have now. But yeah, this album, like I said when I was trying to fix the problem, was released in 1994. It's a fairly old album now, but it's still fairly good, I think. It's probably one of my favourite of their albums. But yeah, here's another song. I might as well play another song from it. This is Caught in a Web.
Show me the heart that
There you go. That was Caught in a Web there by Dream Theater. So this album, it's one of those things where there's only so much you can say about an album, really. I often struggle with these album of the weeks because they're albums I want to share with people, but I feel the need to kind of fill in bits in between. But the next one has actually got something I can talk about rather than just look at a Wikipedia page and try and pick stuff off that. So the next one is called The Mirror, and this is both the start of Dream Theater getting heavy by using 7-string guitars, which for those of you who aren't guitar not nerds, let's call you, it has an extra string on the bottom that's a bit lower, so it's got a bit of a chunkier sound that's quite frequently used in much heavier music. So it's not only that, but it's also the start of a series of songs called the 12-Step Suite. Although it's a little bit before that it started being categorized as such. So this isn't part of the 12-Step Suite that Dream Theater later produced, but this is, let's call it the prelude to it, which was a series of songs. I think he put 1 or 2 on each album. And they were meant to be all pieced together as one, and then about the recovery of alcoholism. So this song is less about recovery, more about being an alcoholic. And this is the first half of it, and there is a second half called Lie, which, if you enjoyed this, I would recommend going and listen to. So this is The Mirror by Dream Theater, and this is the last of the trio of songs I'll play off the album of the week. So here you go. There you go. That was The Mirror there by Dream Theater. As you can hear, it's got a very abrupt end, and that's because it's meant to follow into the next song, Lie. So that was all off the album of the week. If you enjoyed that, then go ahead and check it out. The album was called Awake. So, as you may have noticed, it is drawing close to the hour, and as we had some small technical problems, we will be slightly later. So I'm going to continue on with the scheduled programme. This next song is by Treyarch, and this is Abracadabra. you go. That was Abracadabra there by Treyarch Sound. So we're going to have one more song, and then we're going to go over to the second and lighter hour of music. So this next one is a bit of a classic, and this is System of a Down with Sugar.
Sit. My desolate room. No lights. No music. Just ever. Killed everyone. I'm away forever. But I'm feeling better. How do I feel? What do I say? Fuck you, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? Fuck you, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. How do I feel? What do I say? In the end, it all goes away. 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 In the end, it all goes away.
From the Sky News Centre at 7, some breaking news on Bolton Wanderers' survival has been secured following a takeover of the club by Football Ventures Limited. Yesterday, the EFL gave administrators 14 days to sell the team or face expulsion from the competition. Maggie Tetlow is from the Bolton Wanderers Supporters Trust.
It's fantastic news. I mean, everybody's been waiting for so long for this, and it was such a hugely complex negotiation and deal, and in light of what's happened to Bury, it was just, this has got to be done now, because there was no question about that, where this was heading for us if they didn't get the deal over the line.
A developing political story tonight, and Ruth Davidson is expected to resign as leader of the Scottish Conservatives tomorrow. It's understood it's partly because of the pressures of being a new mum, but she's also apparently found herself at odds with Boris Johnson. The Queen has formally approved the Prime Minister's plan to suspend Parliament for more than a month in the run-up to the October 31st Brexit deadline. The PM insists it's so he can set out his new programme for government and not to limit MPs' ability to halt a no-deal departure.
All you should take from this is that we're doing exactly what I said on the steps of Downing Street, which is that we must get on now with our legislative domestic agenda, tackling crime, on building the infrastructure we need, on technology, on levelling up our education and reducing the cost of living.
Commons Speaker John Bercow says it's a constitutional outrage. 6 men have been found guilty of a string of sex offences concerning teenage girls in Rotherham more than a decade ago. They're the latest convictions to come from a National Crime Agency investigation into what happened there between 1997 and 2013. Research suggests nearly 1.5 billion fewer cigarettes have been smoked each year in England since 2011. A study funded by Cancer Research UK found average consumption's fallen by more than a quarter. And Ed Sheeran says media reports about him retiring are overdramatic. He's posted on Instagram that he's having 18 months off to make another album and hang out with his cats. That's the latest. I'm Barry Weir.
You're listening to Solihull Radio.
Flying high.
There you go. That was Free there with Seven Angels. Welcome back, or if you've just joined me, welcome. This is the Solihull Radio Rock Show. I am the wondrous presenter, Jake. So what you heard before the break, if you were there, was System of a Down with Sugar. What you've heard now was Free with Seven Angels off their fantastic final album, Heartbreaker. So I might as well reiterate the request statement. I do like a good request, and if anybody has a request of me, then please go ahead and email me at studio@solihullradio.com, or you can text studio and your message to 82228. But warning, that one will cost you. So yes, if you do request, please include your name, as I have had some nameless requests, and it is very difficult to thank people when you have no idea who they are. So why are we stopping the music? Let's carry on with some music, shall we? Let's have an absolute classic by AC/DC, and this is Hell's Bells. That was AC/DC there with Hell's Bells, of course, an iconic song. It's a great song. I try not to overplay the rock radio classics like AC/DC because you've heard them a million times. But every now and again I like to pull one out just to probably surprise some people who aren't expecting it. So next up on my playlist we have another song featuring the fantastic Paul Rodgers on vocals. You heard him on the free track at the very beginning of this hour, and now you're going to hear him on a Bad Company track, which was his other band, and this is Can't Get Enough. That was Bad Company there with Can't Get Enough. So we've had our very first request of this hour, and this is for Marky L, and he has requested Right to Decide by Hawkwind. So here you go, enjoy. There you go. That was Hawkwind there with Right to Decide for Marky L. Hope you enjoyed. Right, on with the scheduled programme. So next up we have a song called Bathsheba Smiles, not Bath... Let's try that again. This is Bathsheba Smiles by Richard Thompson.
Bathsheba smiles. She smiles and veins turn to ice. She smiles and heads bow down. She works the room. Her kisses every victim twice. She spreads her joy around. Close your eyes to see miracles. Do you raise your face to kiss angels? Do you float on air to hear oracles? Bathsheba smiles, smiles. Bathsheba smiles, smiles. No doubt can cross her mind. Cross her mind.
There you go, that was Richard Thompson there with Bathsheba Smiles. So, next up, we have a bit of a punk song for all you punk fans out there, and this is off Roadrunner United, which, while primarily a metal album, did top their hat to kind of punk with this one, and this is I Don't Want to Be a Superhero, featuring one of the vocalists that graced the Misfits for a while. So, here we go.
Never in
go. That quick little burst there was I Don't Want to Be a Superhero by Roadrunner United. So next on my list we have a band called Screaming Trees, who I've played a few songs of in the past. I don't think they were particularly well known, but I've got a couple of albums and I really like them. And this is Ocean of Confusion.
Holidays so long ago now, no one can remember. There's a chance this year will pass and vanish in May. There's a moment too far, you're too scared of your side. Ocean of confusion took me back to the end of the night. Transparent dreams fading by hand in my eye. I'm looking back for one last time. Make a dash towards the door in sudden disarray. Hesitate, I turn to rush the more you want to stay. Jump into the silence here. Do you think it's alright? Close your eyes and try to fly back to the end of the night. Transparent dreams fading by hand in my eye. I'm looking back for one last
There you go, that was Screaming Trees there with Ocean of Confusion. So, we have another request, and this is for Shelley, and they have requested Hell's Angels by Roy Harper. So, enjoy.
Hell's Angels, Hell's Angels. If you think you need a better deal, why don't you just take one like the Hell's Angels? Put your foot down, let's get out of this town. Fancy seeing all of you here, well I don't know, fancy seeing all of you here. Dressed up in your government gear, paying taxes, never thought you'd make it to here. slugs. Well, I don't know. Fancy seeing all of you mugs. Drinking all your government drugs. Well, I don't know. Helping all your government thugs.
Some other fellas.
26.
There you go, wasn't that cool? That was Roy Harper there with Hell's Angels for Shelley. I hope you enjoyed that. So, next on my playlist of Doom is Big Elf with Alien Frequency. Another little fun track for you.
What if you could meet your maker? What would you have to say? Who am I? Who are they? Where did they come from? What's beyond the Milky Way? Are we the only ones? Is it real life or fantasy? Is there a God behind the sun? Oh, well, it's not plain to see. Every night I go to bed with my headset on, transmitting tone to alien frequency. Frostbitten world has turned me on, so I keep turned on. Listen for signs of alien frequency. What if you could meet your maker? What would you have to say? Who am I? Who are they? Where do we come from? What's beyond the Milky Way? Are we the only ones? Is it real life or fantasy? Is there a God behind the sun? Oh, well, it's not plain to see. Every night I go to bed with my headset on, transmitting tone to alien frequency. Frostbitten world has turned me on, so I keep turned on. Listen for signs of alien frequency. Every night I go to bed with my headset on, transmitting tone to alien frequency. Frostbitten world has turned me on, so I keep turned on. Listen for signs of alien frequency. Frostbitten world has turned me on, so I keep turned on. Listen for signs of alien frequency.
There you go, that was Big Elf there with Alien Frequency. So we have another track coming up. We've got a few more songs coming up, as I know it's approaching 12 to the hour, but because we're running a little bit late, if you didn't know, there was a couple of technical problems in the first half of the show, so I'm still playing catch up from that. So next up, we have a song by Blue Oyster Cult, and that is Godzilla. Now, this song has also been re-recorded recently, and it's been re-recorded by an absolute stellar all-star kind of lineup, including Serge Tankian of System of a Down on vocals, and it's absolutely amazing. If you like the original, which I'm about to play, I would recommend checking that out. It's off the new Godzilla film. So this is the original Blue Oyster Cult version of Godzilla.
With a purposeful grimace and a terrible sound, he pulls the spinning high-tension wires down. Helpless people on subway trains scream bug-eyed as he looks in on them. He picks up a bus and he throws it back down as he wades through the buildings toward the center of town. They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla. Yeah. Oh no, there goes Tokyo, go, go, Godzilla. Yeah. They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla. Yeah. Oh no, there goes Tokyo, go, go, Godzilla. Yeah. They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla. Yeah. Oh no, there goes Tokyo, go, go, Godzilla. Yeah. History shows again and again how nature points up the folly of man. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points up the folly of man. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points up the folly of man. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points up the folly of man. Godzilla!
There you go. That was, of course, Godzilla there by Blue Oyster Cult. So, we're going to have another song. Surprise, surprise. And this is going to be Go By the River by Church of the Cosmic Skull, who are really fun. I would really recommend checking them out if you don't know them already. So this is Church of the Cosmic Skull with Go By the River.
Go by the river, go by the road, go by
go. That was Go By the River there with Church of the Cosmic Skull. So next up we have another request, and this is for MK Fury, and they have requested Closer by Kings of Leon. So here you go.
Stranded in the spooky town, stoplight is swerving and the phone lines are down, floor is crackling cold. She took my heart, I think she took my soul. With the moon I run, far from the carnage of the fiery sun. Driven by the strangle of pain, showing no mercy, I do it again. Open up your eyes, you keep on crying, baby, I'll be your bride. Skies are blinking me, I see a storm bubbling up from the sea. Now just call me closer. Now just call me closer. You shimmy shook my bones, leaving me stranded all in love on my own. Do you think of me? Where am I now, baby? Where do I sleep? Feels so good, but I'm old. 2,000 years of chasing, taking its toll. Now just call me closer. Now just call me closer. Now just call me closer.
There you go. That was Closer there by Kings of Leon for MK Fury. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, we're coming up to the final two songs of the show. And next up, we have a song by a band that is usually known for heavy metal. And that is Black Sabbath. But their first album was really blues-inspired. And this song is a far cry from what you might think as heavy metal. So this is Black Sabbath with Behind the Wall of Sleep. There you go. It was Behind the Wall of Sleep there by Black Sabbath. So the time has come for me to finish off the show. So, well, thank you very much for listening. If you've just joined, I'm afraid you're too late. There is a catch-up, though, if you feel obliged to, well, not obliged, but if you feel motivated to listen, we have a Listen Again service if you want to head on over to the website. While you're there, check out our social media links, and while you're checking those out, check mine out at Rock Radio Jake on Facebook. Give it a like and you'll get a bit of a heads up on the programme. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next week, hopefully, if you've enjoyed it. If not, I'm very sorry. But for those of you who are going to come back, thank you very much. I will finish on a song now by Spirit called When I Touch You. So thank you and good night from me.
solihullradio.com.